everyone, and welcome to the IIBA podcast series. My name is Amy Riddell, and our topic today is New BA Roles, Hybrid Business Analyst. Our guest is Mr. Paul Crosby. Paul is one of the founders and CFO at the Uncommon League. He is also the full-time instructor for project management, agile, and strategic enterprise analysis. Paul is the author of Fail Fast, Fail Safe, Harnessing Failure to Succeed, and the Uncommon Book of Analysis Techniques. He has presented at events all over North America, including BA World, Project World and Project Summit, and local IIBA chapter meetings, as well as many, many other events. With over 25 years of experience in manufacturing, insurance, healthcare, education, and government sectors in the role of CFO, portfolio manager, program manager, project manager, educator, editor, business analyst, and green belt process improvement. Paul has helped many companies think, learn, and work differently. Welcome, Paul.
Well, hello, podcasters. How's it going?
Well, Paul, thank you very much for being with us today. I'm going to jump right in with. Oh, thank you. I am going to jump in with the very first question off the top. How would you describe the role of a hybrid business analyst?
I think in today's world, the hybrid business analyst is someone who's wearing multiple hats. There's a lot of fun and exciting opportunities out there as we kind of settle into the new century. Sounds so important and ominous, right? But there's been some surveys that have been done by Forbes and LinkedIn, and they've been looking at this hybrid role, this role of people having multiple tasks to do that traditionally were kind of kept separately from each other. So we have the PUMBA, the PMBA, that one's been around for a decade or so, and we have, the product owner BA, which has kind of been coming up here pretty routinely, and we have some stuff that's coming down the line that's kind of new and exciting as well. Business analysts and developers being combined into one role as we move into this new digital age, and a BA user experience UX type role. That one's probably been around for the last 5 years, but it's getting a lot more traction in the industry. So there's these great roles that are coming down the pike that are really kind of changing the traditional business analyst role and kind of combining them with some really exciting opportunities.
That's pretty cool. Why are we seeing an increase in focus on the hybrid BA role?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that have been happening in the industry. When I talk with my colleagues on the C-level and other CFOs out there, the things that are kind of happening are that we're kind of limited in funding. I mean, it all gets down to the big buck, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's limited funding. So small to medium-sized organizations tend to run lean, and they have these multiple roles. But large organizations have started to take over that kind of concept of being able to hybridize their folks and be a little bit more lean and small on their project teams. They're really looking for project teams that aren't big. The days of the big bang, we're going to put in the ERP system and it's going to take 3 years kind of deal, are long gone. CFOs aren't willing to dedicate capital for that length of time without seeing some sort of, return on investment more quickly. So what you're seeing smaller projects, you're seeing smaller project teams, and you're also seeing our folks that have just graduated from high school and from college. They're starting to get into the workforce. And that generation is a little bit different than the X generation. They are a little bit more flexible in that. I shouldn't say flexible. I should say that they're a little bit more hybridized by their nature, the way that they grew up. In their world, it's very common to do multitasking and, having multiple sets of thinking. And that's just kind of what they are. They're very group-focused and group-centric in their thinking. So what that is, that's kind of being a little bit of a, whitewash over the whole thing. But that's kind of one of the reasons why it's happening. And Agile itself, which has become more and more adapting, and Scrum and Scrumban and XP and Safe and all of these things are also going in and saying, hey, this is kind of pushing these hybrid roles as well. And you're also seeing the focus on another reason. Amazon has Amazon Web Services. You're seeing IBM Cloud, Microsoft Cloud, Salesforce Cloud. All of these clouds are out there. And businesses are taking advantage of these clouds because it's easier for them. It's cheaper. They get a bigger bang for the buck. They get more return on investment. And that's also pushing for these smaller teams, these hybridized teams. They're doing a lot of configuration. They're doing a lot of development. So that's where that new role of developer BA is kind of moving along a little bit faster. Another thing that's happening is the technology is changing. We're starting to see AI, artificial intelligence, in development and other areas. So you're starting to see the need for folks not to necessarily be, hands-on keyboard coding in a language like Java or C or whatever. You're seeing folks that have to configure or kind of tweak what's there and being able to kind of work around it. So you've got things like Azure and Power Apps and other applications along those lines that are typically configured. They're not, coded per se, and so that's also kind of pushing toward this more hybrid role as well.
Okay, you just mentioned actually a developer BA. Can you give us some other examples of a hybrid BA role?
Yeah, I think the most popular one that is out there right now is the Scrum Master BA, where you're running the Scrum team and you're doing the ceremonies and you're kind of keeping things going and all of that kind of stuff. The second most popular actually is, which is kind of surprising, but it's the product owner BA, who is the person that is responsible for, interfacing with the business on a product and all that good stuff. That's kind of the other side of it. And then actually what I've been kind of seeing recently within the last 18 months is this PMBA combo role has actually beginning to kind of reduce. It's kind of getting smaller. I'm not seeing as many of those out there or hearing about them, which I found kind of interesting. It's like that was something that worked for a while, and then now it doesn't seem to be working quite as well as we thought. The up and coming are, of course, the BA developer, the BA configurer, the BA solver, and then the BA user experience. And I have also been kind of seeing a little inkling on the very way fringes of what's kind of going on out there, this BA quality role where you have people that are doing both business analysis and testing at the same time. That's also coming up as well.
What do you think the benefits are of a hybrid BA role?
I think, like I said before, I think for the benefits for the company is the reduced cost. They want the big bang for the buck. They want more return on their investment. They want faster. They want agile. They want flexibility. They want, all the good stuff. So, that's from the company perspective. But from the individual perspective, this is a great opportunity for individuals to expand their skill set considerably. It does make you more available to slide into different roles and different companies and different projects and kind of move around your own organization or move around within other organizations externally, because you would have that broader perspective, those broader set of skills, which would make you more valuable to potential employers. Also, that gives you kind of the ability to kind of step in and take over when you've got problems on a project, right? Because you have a broader set of skills, you can be that parachuter in there. Woo! In you go, right? And you're going to, do the firefighting and solve the, save the day and all that good stuff. So from an individual perspective, definitely that is, especially in the BA side of the world, expanding those skills, getting a broader perspective of different things, it helps in your ability to elicit requirements, and it also helps you in your career as well.
Okay. Thank you. On some recent podcasts, You've talked a great deal about the role digital is playing in business today. What role can a hybrid BA play in this new digital reality?
So the digital reality is all about transformation of and adoption of new technologies. So several of my clients have been trying to adopt new ways to adopt the newer AI technologies, the newer decision-making modeling technologies out there to help them reduce overall business costs. Probably a very relatable example of that would be not one of my clients, but I've seen their projects. Amazon has a lot of logistics type things that they have, and they're rolling out, the same day delivery and 2-hour delivery and all that. Well, when you think about that, that's a heck of a lot of technology that's behind trying to get that shipment from a warehouse onto a truck and delivered to somebody's house within 2 hours. But it's also about doing it efficiently. So one of my clients, which is a local delivery company, their big thing was, hey, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to reduce fuel consumption, right? So less pollution, less fuel costs, less wear and tear on vans and trucks and drivers and craziness. So what they have been investing in very heavily is trying to figure a way to use the newer GPS technologies and artificial intelligence and all these new stuff that's out there, and putting it all together to integrate it, combining it into one tool set that they can use to reduce their costs. And they've been very successful at it, and they're very happy about their hybrid people, right? Because it really takes someone who knows a broad width of different technologies to be able to put all of these systems together, to integrate them all together. So they're very happy with people that can do that. So they use a lot of cloud computing. They use AWS, and they use all of these other fun and exciting tools as a part of their solution packaging. And they have someone who can actually, put it all together. So they sort of have this BA architect kind of doer, product owner, configurer role, and it's like super crazy broad when you read it, and it definitely just completely blows apart any kind of traditional model, and it's been very successful for them. It's not successful for all organizations. I mean, the bigger the organization, the bigger the system, the less likely they are to choose a hybrid role, the more likely they're to go with a more closer to the traditional role than they would. When you get into entrepreneurial companies or companies that are in the fast lane trying to really push the envelope in technology, then you get people that are more definitely hybrid. I mean, they just kind of they expect you to be very, very broad in your technologies and all that good stuff. And in the new digital reality, the BA, the biggest role there is a lot about strategy. The BA has this ability to look at how the company can change, and it's really kind of the definition of success is what the BA is helping the organization achieve. They're looking with, or they're working with the folks at the higher levels, the managers, directors, and C-levels, CFO, CEO, COO, Chief Operating Officer, et cetera. And they're saying, hey guys, let's look at this and try and put together a model that makes sense. The companies that have been the most successful with digital transformation have been the ones that have a very clear definition of what it is that they're trying to achieve. And well, to clearly define something, you need a business analyst to, elicit those requirements and put together that design and look at what your success criteria is. And so companies who have done this, who have very strategic enterprise focus, and have said, this is what we want, very precisely, very exactly what it is that they want, and then they turn it over to an agile team to, get rocking and rolling on it. They found that the better that you define your project ahead of time, the more quickly it will go through your agile team. So you get that speed, you get that flexibility, you save money, you get the bang for the buck faster, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So really, companies are and I see this more and more, is the strategic enterprise analysis is starting to peak up. And they're really looking for that person that can build the relationships. When I talked with several of the CFOs here in the cities, the biggest problem that they have is infighting between the C-levels, infighting between, not being clear among the board or among managers or directors about what it is that this whole digital transformation is and what it actually means and what it looks like. There's no consensus. And so when you don't have consensus and you try and push it into development, you have an utter disaster, right? Because the Agile team, it's trying to run fast, right? And you can't run fast when you're trying to deflect a bunch of political and questioning and why is we doing this and what is this and why it just doesn't work. It really slows the team down. So that is kind of a big thing about digital transformation. I feel, and I've seen it work very efficiently. I think the BA is poised to just take over that area. I think that they are well suited for it because they have the analysis skills, the problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and relationship building, right? I mean, a lot of this is about building trust with the folks that you're trying to change within an organization. The biggest advice that I can give a business analyst at this point is learn organizational change management. Understand how that works, learn the basics of that, and just kind of go out there and understand how change is implemented in an organization and how to manage it within an organization. And all of these digital transformation type things will be much, much easier.
Okay, thank you. At the Building Business Capability Conference in 2018, you talked about thriving as a hybrid BA. Can you share some more of your perspective on this and what it takes to thrive in this dynamic role?
Yeah, the survival skills. Relationship building, number one. Avoid that, the ability to wield emotional intelligence, the ability to build trust, the ability to negotiate, the ability to solve conflict, crucial conversations, all that good stuff. Number one on the list. Adaptable is the second one, I would say. It's being flexible in multiple roles. As we do these transformations and as we continue to go and try and redefine what it is to be a BA and what that entails, that adaptability is what makes you the most successful in your career. You'll be able to move around and help your organization more effectively. For folks on the CMO, chief marketing officers, and even the financial experts are saying, hey, it gets down to user experience, guys. What is the experience with your product? When you say you're going to do 2-hour delivery, do you get 2-hour delivery? Are you really doing this? Are you doing it in a way that is easy and effective for your customers? And are you, the journey map is very important. Are you getting this in a way that customers can work with? And it's also about process improvement. A lot of the focus on digital transformation is, hey, we're trying to make something better. Well, if you're trying to make something better, that's obviously process improvement. You can't have one without the other in most cases, I would say. So having that in there. I think the one that's kind of unexpected skill is curiosity, is being curious about these new technologies. It's exploring. It's learning new technologies on your own. It's being the explorer, right? It's being Christopher Columbus and discovering the new world, or Armstrong going to the moon, or whatever it is. It's that curiosity of just learning constantly and not stopping to get a handle on all of these different technologies and understanding. But I think those are the top ones for survival skills. Okay.
Thank you very much. We have one last question, and you had mentioned earlier that, piece of advice you would give to someone looking to sort of go into this role is to learn organizational change management. But what other advice would you give to a BA considering a hybrid role?
I would say, focus on your strengths. Figure out where your strengths are, and then focus on those. If you are a really good organizer and a relationship builder, that would tend to say, hey, wait a minute. Okay, well, let's look at all of these skills that I can bring to the table and really focus on them and build them up, build them stronger, because you're naturally inclined to do that as a strength. Building those strengths up makes you even more formidable, more valuable to your organization. It's also about kind of finding out your weaknesses in a little bit, but I play that a little bit differently. I always say play to your strengths, but know your weaknesses. Knowing that your weaknesses are great, because then at that point, if something is your weakness, you know at that point that you could take it and give it to somebody who your weakness is their strength. Mm-hmm. So you can take advantage of their strength and kind of do that. I would definitely, organizational change. I would continue to look at all of the different technologies that are out there, constantly keep my skills sharp on process improvement, because as digital transformation or transformation in industry continues, with all these new technologies, that's a big part of why they're doing it. They're not transforming just for the sake of transforming. They're transforming because they want to get value. They want to get a return on investment. So look at your financial skills a little bit. Understand what ROI is, net present value, IRR, all that fun stuff. Understand why that's important to the organization. Not only the calculation, but understand how you can deliver that within your project. Hey, how am I contributing to ROI in my project? How am I contributing to success criteria for my product or my project? And being able to understand in that piece of it. That's another big piece that I think BAs could possibly really take over is project success criteria, program success criteria, initiative success criteria. How is it that we know that we have effectively achieved what it is that we thought we were going to do? And that's building goals and mission statements and, getting agreement on all of that. And I think that is another big part of what a BA can really bring to the table in this new digital transformation world.
Awesome. No, that's great. Thank you so much. We've run out of time, but we really, really appreciate you being here. I thought this went really, really well. If any of the listeners would like to reach out to you with questions or what have you, how do they get in touch?
Why, I am on happy little Twitter. You can reach out to there, or LinkedIn, linkedin.com, Paul Crosby. You'll see me out there. We'll have your little smiling face.
Yeah.
We're on there I am, that gray beard there that shows my age. And then we have the uncommonleague.com. You can swing by there. Otherwise, paul@bobtheba.com. You can reach me there as well.
Okay. Well, on behalf of all of us, we'd like to thank you very much for being with us today, Paul. Thank you again. And
you're most welcome.
Oh, thank you. And for those of you who are out there listening, thank you for joining us. We're going to have some great podcasts coming up in the new year, so be sure to tune in for those. Thanks so much, everybody, and thank you again, Paul.
You betcha. Thanks.